added some flocculent to the pool, and right now it's just in the circulation phase, but it's already starting to bind to a bunch of cloudy particles in the water, and it's actually spread pretty evenly through the pool, so it seems like there's good circulation there. We'll see what happens in a few hours after letting it settle. As you can see, you can't really see the bottom of the pool. You can't even barely see the bottom of the steps or the ladder, and it's just a murky mess more than a few feet down. So last night I put in some of this flocculent into the pool. It was completely cloudy, and today it's perfectly clear, and all the cloudy material that was in the water is now sitting on the bottom. This is what I used. It's Clorox's brand. I put 24 ounces. You put 8 ounces per 10,000 gallons, and this is almost a 30,000 gallon pool. And ran the pump on recirculate for 2 hours and then shut it off over the night, and this is the results. It's much clearer than it used to be. Now I just have to vacuum it all up. You can take a closer look here and see what the flocculent's done. There's still a bunch of particles on top of the water that are pretty big, and then down at the bottom you can see really big chunks of stuff, and that's what I'm gonna have to vacuum up here. You have to use a manual vacuum because the automatic vacuums will just kick too much of that back up into the water, make it harder to vacuum. There's even some stuck on the sides of the walls here, so we'll see how much work it is to get this all vacuumed up. Because these particles are so big, you can't leave your filter on. It will clog up your filter pretty fast and wear it out. Instead, you have to turn your pump on waste, so it's just going to dump the water out of the pool. So in order to combat that, you need the water hose on. So that's what I have over there, and I accidentally turned it on high pressure, and it pushed all the debris on the bottom over, which cleaned out a corner pretty quickly, but it also kicked up a lot of dust or cloudiness in the water, and that's why you need to use a manual vacuum, and so you don't do the same thing. So don't do that. Be sure your water hose is on low pressure. And since you don't have the jets recirculating water, it's harder to prime the vacuum. You have to have, I had to use the water hose to help prime it. So here I have my pump set on waste out, and turn it on. The water should start flowing out. Now it's time to go vacuum. Now it looks a lot better than it did before I vacuumed, and it certainly looks a lot better than it did yesterday when you couldn't even see a foot down. Now you can see the bottom, but it's still pretty cloudy, partly because of the water pressure fiasco I made earlier, and just vacuuming kicks up some dust. Also, you can see the water levels way down from dumping all the water out into the yard. So I'm going to give it a break to let the particles settle back down and the water to fill back up, and see about cleaning it up after that. I left the pump off last night so all the particles would have time to settle, and let it come on at its regularly scheduled time of midnight with the automatic vacuum hooked up. It seems that all the particles are gone now. The pool is perfectly clear and clean. So the flocculent worked. I was curious what would come out of the pipe with all the water, and it appears nothing. If there's big particles, they must be much smaller than they look when they're all separated, because all I just see is wet grass.